Good morning. Morning. Truth Disclosure 369 in the house once again. Got the boy Midnight the Battle Cat in the background as usual. I hope everyone is doing all right. Just want to get on here for a short time. Hope everyone is doing okay. Wish nothing but the best for all. But before I get started, you know my mantra is to greet everyone who come across this video in the greeting words of peace, which is a universal language. Seen and unseen all resonate from that word peace. Peace continues to evolve out of love, unconditional love. So I hope everyone is having a blessed morning and we'll have a continued blessed day. But let me get on into some of the stuff I wanted to start with. Some stuff that came to mind when I saw this. I had spoke on it a while back, maybe a couple of months ago. The reality of depopulation and a lot of these vehicles and these programs that we hear in our society, vehicles of global networks of support such as the UN, the World Health Organization, World Economic Forum, the National Bank of Settlements, NATO, and there's so many more organizations you think of, but there's always been chatter all throughout the years. It's not like this stuff just started, but there's always been chatter since the 80s and before about a lot of these organizations and the agendas, which were really about depopulation. I wanted to go to this article right here. Sure, I got it on here. I'm gonna pull this up because I spoke on this a while back. Article from the Washington Post. This was today, 12 a.m. So at midnight, the Washington Post, which is owned by, for those who don't know, Washington Post is also owned by Bezos, the guy that's flying up into so-called space in a craft that looked like a phallus. And it's crazy, but he owns the Washington Post. Of course, his popularity comes from Amazon. But here's an article. Nearly 75% of U.S. counties lost population last year as deaths outnumbered births, data shows. Almost 3/4 of all U.S. counties reported more deaths than births last year, a development largely caused by the pandemic, which contributed to a dramatic slowing in the nation's overall population growth, according to the data released Thursday by the Census Bureau. And when you see stuff like this, this is music to certain wicked and evil inclined so-called human beings. This is music to their ears. This is something they love to hear, because anytime you're talking about, and this is a little graph of metro Washington, D.C. area. And see this stuff here, that's why the urgency of what's going on with these fake ass leaders, these bogus ass governments that's trying to implement shit that's not about people's best interest. That's why the urgency is needed for people to understand what the fuck is going on. I woke up this morning and seen this shit. I had to hurry up and get on here because I spoke on this couple of, I think it was in January. There was another article that was speaking directly for different, I know Missouri was one of them, and here in Michigan was one, in which they were stating that certain cities had lost more people than were being born. And you know, this is music to these people, these I don't even want to give them the privilege of being called people. This is what they like. 75% of U.S. counties lost population last year as deaths outnumbered births. So I know Wayne County, which includes where I'm at, Detroit and the metropolitan area, I know that's also included in that. But you would think that everything is just fine and dandy when you see people out here acting all like shit is normal and, you know, trying to act like normal. And I get it how some people say, well, you know, you gotta always try and do what's you gotta live your life and you gotta do this and do that. My argument with that is there's nothing wrong with living your life, but when you're living your life under the gun of people and it seems like you can't do shit about it, you can't, it's a hopeless situation where you just gotta go along to get along. That doesn't, when you have a spirit of truth or you have a spirit of rebelliousness, that doesn't even resonate regardless. Only thing you can do is respect those who have that opinion, but you know, likewise they have to respect those that have, you know, the latter opinion, which is, you know, person can't be quiet about it. No matter what, how many people want to shut up and sweep shit under the rug and make stuff seem like it's there's nothing going on, you know, everybody's putting out fake news or, you know, there's too much. I mean that argument has long been out the door because most of the conspiracies have proven to be some reality to it now. And so now we're dealing with that which was put in place, and a lot of these depopulation measures, which goes back, and I also talked about the Georgia Guidestones. Not only the Georgia Guidestones, but you also had agenda. You also have Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, and all these different shits. All of them talking about decreasing the population of the planet. A lot of this stuff is out here that can be looked up. A lot of it has also been filtered so that it's made to seem like it's not what it really is, especially by groups like this. And I'm gonna go to this article here. Let me come up out of here. Where you have groups that try and fake the funk, like certain stuff is fake news or it's biased news and this and that, and you had these so-called fact checkers, and these fact checkers are the ones who go through and to online shit and make sure everything is up to par. Now, I wanted to go to this shit here, and excuse me 1 minute, because there's something about this that I wanted. This it. Okay, yeah. COVID-19 fact checks. Okay, so of course, when you look stuff up like this online, especially you're using a lot of browsers that are involved in the big tech where of course DuckDuckGo was lost to big tech with the Ukraine and Russia engagements, in which a lot of their stuff now is being tagged and shit being called disinformation and everything else. But I'm on Firefox right now, but I'm gonna just go through some of this shit. COVID-19 fact checks. False. COVID-19 is a program for mass extermination, not a real disease. COVID-19 has been verified by the WHO, World Health Organization, as naturally occurring virus. No scientific evidences proves otherwise. Now, in this article, it states that COVID-19 is not real. It's part of a program for massive population of over 80% of the population. The term COVID-19 actually means Certificate of Identification of Vaccination with Artificial Intelligence. This claim was made in a YouTube video that has gained around 265,000 views, 7,200 likes, 1,169 comments as of the writing of this. And then it goes on to continue to say that COVID-19 is real as defined by World Health Organization. It is a disease caused by a new strain of coronavirus, so forth and so forth. You know, and you get this stuff out here, you know, that's kind of trying to stay in alignment with certain, hold on, let me go, this is another one, that stays in alignment with certain agendas. But when you look at these fact-checking places, the groups that they have on here, I mean, Pointer, and you look at this shit, if you don't know a lot of these news media sites, or you don't know the history, and I'm looking on my phone right now at Pointer Institute. The Pointer Institute for Media Studies is a nonprofit journalism school and research organization in St. Petersburg, Florida. The school is the owner of the Tampa Bay Times newspaper and the International Fact-Checking Network. So anytime you're dealing with global or international reach with that, then you don't want nothing out there that's going to impede anything that's going to destroy a narrative to achieve a certain goal. I mean, that's with anything. That's just common sense. But it also operates PolitiFact. And you can see PolitiFact right here, and you know this is straight up bullshit because they go in. Of course, when you go on PolitiFact, this is the first thing you see right here. And you know, a bunch of garbage. And I'm gonna come back to this black woman right here who is chiming in for the Supreme Court. I'm gonna come back to that a little in a minute, because you know you got people out here that, oh man, you know, they trying to hate on her because how is motherfucking this is the part that gets me. You know, they get on people for asking her these questions. I didn't watch none of that shit. I just saw the coverage on some news, some of the footage on the news, and that was it. Care less, because her blackness does not dictate whether I give a fuck about what's going on here. I don't give a damn if you're black, you're orange, or whatever. If you're dealing with this goddamn fucked up ass system, you're part of the fucking problem. If you're not acknowledging it and you trying to tap dance with it, ain't nothing to talk about. Sad thing about it, so many of our people are caught up in that shit. They getting on this lady here who she's nothing. She's a Tennessee legislator, senator down there, full of shit herself, and it just makes them feel good to try and question a person. And you know, all these fucking Supreme Court hearings, they always do. And I'm gonna fuck around. I'm gonna go ahead and go here. All these fucking Supreme Court hearings, they always do that shit. They always have the opposite side talk all this shit, have all these questions, and these, you know, when the Republicans are asking all these fucking questions, You know, they ask these questions and everybody come back, well, they doing some shit that they asking erroneous questions, or they going too far. I mean, this woman is qualified, or this man is qualified, and vice versa. If the Democrats doing it and it's more of a conservative person, they do the same shit. You know, and I look at it like, why the fuck, where's that energy at when you talking about, and once again, where's their energy at when you talking about, and this comes from all around the board, white, black, red, yellow, this comes from all around the board. Where's that energy at, that same energy that's put into shit like this, when you still got a man, or a so-called man known as Fauci, who they keep talking about putting up in the news lately about his retirement decisions and all this shit, who lied continuously in front of Congress, who have peddled bullshit, who is probably the one of the reasons, not the main reason, but one of the reasons why this fucking pandemic and all this shit started in the first place. But you don't get no fucking facts behind it. What you're getting is dominoes falling all over the planet, where governments are trying to stamp out individual choices, freedoms, and everything else, and then use these bogus ass theories and agendas and these vehicles, these like the WHO and all this other shit to justify that shit, man. So, you know, they sit up here and everybody going in on this woman, man. You know, to me, it's like another, you know, I can't really, and when it comes to this, it's like, I don't give a damn, honestly. What the fuck can the Supreme Court, with her in it or without it, what the fuck can they do when dealing with all of this corruption that's going on? Nothing, because they fucking corrupt themselves. And I'm gonna go to this right here. This was a video that I did a while back too, and this, matter of fact, it's about a couple months ago as well. And this video was done let's see, make sure I get this up. Okay, now this video was done a couple of months ago, still during the hold on. Okay. I'm gonna go to where I want to go. Good afternoon. Make sure I find it real quick. Okay. Having a little problem. Let me come up out of here and come back to it. Because this is some shit that got that Rakim playing in the background. Protest for Roe versus Wade. But you know, these folks sit up here and they put all their energy in on shit that they deem important. But I guess with the loss of so many lives and the truth and everything, you know, all that shit takes a backdoor type of setting when you want to get to that, because nobody wants to get to that. Nobody wants to talk about it. Hold on, let me see. Come on now. Should be coming up. I just had it on here. It ain't that damn early. Just had it up here. Okay, let me see. This might be it right here. But you know, this they do this shit every fucking president that gets into um the White House, you know, when the time comes from some of these Supreme Court justices to 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 get off to retire, or you have some who pass away, they always come with these nominations, and then they always do this float show. And it's like, man, fuck all that. Y'all need to be doing a float show of why this fucking country fucked up. Why y'all keep using the media to lie? Why y'all keep doing this? Why y'all keep doing that? Why Fauci keep getting away? Why he got away with lying in front of Congress? Why is that? Why is that? Nobody gets no answers when it comes to that, but get called disinformationists, and you know, have these fake fact checkers come out. And okay, here we go. Well, that's one. I'm gonna bring this one up right here, and I'm gonna go into this one. And you know, they try and make shit seem, hold on. I'm sorry, people. I'm sitting up here caught up. Shit don't want to act right with. Oh no, it's almost there. So, library. Go to the library. Oh, we got history. Let's go in. Okay, whatever. Let me get back to my main joint. But like I said, they try and make it seem like shit like this is something that I went to the wrong damn article. Ain't that something? Let me go. Hold on. Get out of here. Let me pull this up real quick. All right, we're on it. And then, you know, it's funny when I mention this, because you know, people lost their jobs, people were banned from off of social media, and had their character maligned and assassinated, all because of shit that this same person did, who is also a member of and you know, CNN can't be trusted for shit, but I'm gonna go to their source, because the subject matter is around Justice Sotomayor. You know, this was done, yeah, back in January. Jen Psaki was asked why the hell was a Supreme Court justice, highest court in the land, spewing fake news and misinformation from the highest bench in the land. But yet nobody, nobody said anything. Nobody nobody took her Twitter accounts down. Nobody took her Facebook accounts off the air. None of that shit. And here it is right here. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor made a significant false claim on Friday about COVID-19's impact on children. And I don't know if they're going to put the whole, oh yeah, they did. But a liberal tried doing the Friday, and this is the shit that pisses me off. You know, they talk about liberal and everything, but liberals and conservatives, to me, they both full of shit. But it looked like, to me, more liberals are more about tyranny. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It looked like everybody who claiming the liberal parties, which is Democrats or however in other countries, it seems like they're more the ones pressing for tyranny. They're more the ones that's lying about a lot of stuff that's affecting people's health and everything else. I don't know. I'm just saying, but a liberal tried during the Friday hearing to emphasize the danger posed by the Omicron variant of the virus. We have over 100,000 children, which we've never had before, in serious condition and on many on ventilators. Now, this is what CNN, facts first. Sotomayor's claim about children wasn't even close to accurate. Surprisingly, to me, that CNN would even do that shit, especially for somebody of that stature. Judge Sotomayor, a liberal. But they put this out here. Sotomayor's claim about children wasn't even close to accurate, according to federal data at the time Sotomayor spoke. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But nobody brought her up on called her out on that shit. Nobody and this is her right here. Nobody seemed to, matter of fact, it just seemed to fade on out in the limelight. So it's like for people to put, once again, to put their eggs in one basket and think that the Supreme Court, because you see all these old ass dudes and women and oh, they stand for the truest justice in the land. Yeah, okay, they do. Well, how come this country so fucked up like it is? Huh? And it don't matter who the fuck is on that court, black, white, or whatever, it's Latino, it's fucked up. So sitting up here riding a coattail of a person, you know, that woman, let me go back to it. These people do all type of shit. In their life to get to where they're at, you know, and whether they serve as judges, attorneys, whatever, and then when they want to get on their to the Supreme Court, they have to be nominated by president who sees them as being fit or having the qualifications. But in the reality, people are sitting up here saying, well, she don't have qualifications. Well, she do have qualifications. Be honest, how are you to say? A lot of people don't even know this woman. And black folks sitting up here jumping all around the board, oh, just because of her skin color. And white folks jumping off the board because of her skin color. And, you know, the argument that maybe she was picked because of her skin color. It don't really fucking matter if she was picked for her skin color or not. The Supreme Court still ain't shit. It's still not going to advance anything as far as justice to people that have been suffering from ongoing government encroachment, ongoing government cover-ups, lies and bullshit. So what's the fucking difference? I don't get it. I mean, you can sit up there and people with brown nose and all that shit all they fucking want to. White folks can turn red in the face about they don't want this woman in here and all this shit. But what good the fuck is that gonna do when you got all this other shit going on around you? Like I said, you know, 75% of U.S. counties lost population last year as deaths outnumbered births. A lot of it they claim contributed to the pandemic. We know that a lot of people, and I tell people this, every day I'm seeing somebody, whether it's on the news, whether it's an article, whether I heard it from somebody, a relative or a loved one, every day somebody's passing away. It's like it's like so many people are heading out of here, and a lot of it was boosted because of this shit that has been out here that they don't want to, still don't want to get to the bottom of. But there has also been other stuff from disasters, from accidents, from just domestic violence to freak accidents to other health issues other than COVID, which during a large portion of that time, you didn't hear of anything else but COVID. So you almost thought that everybody that was dying, that was the only thing they were dying of. Well, there was no other symptoms or ailments taking people out. But are the Supreme Court gonna do anything to get down to this? No. So motherfuckers sitting up here arguing and talking all this shit. You still gonna have organizations like the WHO, the World Economic Forum, still gonna have the Bill Gates Foundation and all this, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and his vaccination organization and all that shit. You're still gonna have all these outside influences that are directing our government and other governments across the goddamn planet, directing them toward this authoritarian, tyrannical, one world governance. And it's almost like these were the stories that motherfuckers used to talk about back in the day. A lot of motherfuckers used to laugh at. Now I spoke on it before, but it's like, man, look, I mean, you can't hide what you it's only so much you could do to hide shit for so long, and then it has to come out. This is funny right here. FBI arrests Bill Gates for biological terrorism after, but that wasn't real. That didn't happen. But motherfucker had to be careful with these facts like Snopes and shit like that claim they fact checkers. They're nothing but propaganda tools. And see, when you have people like this, I'm gonna go to this article. This is a tweet from Mislav Kolakusik, member of the European Parliament, former judge, non-affiliated activist for the rule of law and fighter against corruption. He's speaking about, and I'm gonna play it, and they'll show the subtitles. But people like this in all countries are here, and they're calling out the shit that so many don't want to say, or they don't want to. They're too scared to call out, or they're too in denial or lost in the propaganda to even notice or understand what the fuck is going on. So I'm gonna play this.
Nekada simbol modernog svijeta je pod vodstvom vaše kvazi-liberalne čizme proteklih mjeseci postala simbol kršenja temeljnih ljudskih prava i građanskih sloboda. Gledali smo kako konjima gaze žene, kako samohranim roditeljima blokirate bankovne račune, da ne mogu platiti djeci školovanje, da ne mogu platiti lijekove, da ne mogu platiti račune za struju i vodu, da ne mogu platiti rate kredita za svoje domove. Za vas su to možda liberalne metode. Međutim, za mnoge građane svijeta to je diktatura najgore vrste. Budite uvjereni da građani svijeta, udruženi, mogu zaustaviti svaki režim koji želi uništiti slobodu građana, bilo bombama, bilo štetnim farmaceutskim proizvodima. Hvala.
There you go right there. But this is, you know, this is what is needed to happen. And it's happening when you have people starting to call out in big positions that's calling shit out. Now, we know that Canada just had all that shit going on, you know, no less than a month ago, a month and a half ago. They had all this stuff going on, man. And, you know, with the stuff that's going on in Ukraine, I don't know how this man, Justin Trudeau, just feels like he can just go everywhere and scream and talk about democracy and what Canada is doing to help and provide, like the world ain't seeing what the fuck you was doing up there with your power or your power grab and those that support that shit. You know, a lot of people were angry because of what the truckers were doing, but a lot of them, you know, they refused to really show what was going on with those who really stood in a genuine cause against the tyranny that was being played out right in front of their eyes. That not only affected them, they affected their families, even some of them who agreed with that shit. These folks was mad about fucking trucks honking. And these folks trying to tell you you can't do this and can't do that unless you take a certain procedure or whatever. I mean, come on, man. So people see this shit. And this man called this shit out, man. This was yesterday. Yeah, this was yesterday. Prime Minister Trudeau, in recent months, under your quasi-liberal boot, Canada has become a symbol of civil rights violations. That sounds familiar, especially if you live in America. The methods we have witnessed may be liberal to you, but to many, and there go that word again, liberal. It's like all the liberal shit, everything that is associated with liberal has gone completely kaput to a point where it looks like all liberals are about enslavement. You know, at one time, you know, the Democratic Party used to be the party which owned physical slaves and supported slavery. And, you know, they go through all this shit that try and break down the history of what happened between the Democrats and the Republican Party. And, you know, all that shit about Lincoln, he the one that freed the slaves and all that shit. He was a Republican and all that shit. Man, get the fuck out of here. And anybody that continue to believe that shit, man. And I'm gonna go in it like this because people gotta understand. Slavery was all about fucking money as well as it was about using people as tools. At that time, black folks were the ones being used because black folks were the one in demand, and a lot of us were guilty of handing over some of our own to these type of people. Not only black folks, Arabs, you know, and this is something else that I had to get on because a lot of blacks don't want to touch shit like that. I know I used to be like that. No, that could never happen. But as you start to live and you see how we act and the shit that we keep on regurgitating and spitting up, and you see shit otherwise, man, that shit don't make no fucking sense. Then you begin to see it. So yeah, it was fucked up with the physical chattel slavery of African men, women, and children during that time. But let's call it all out. Let's call out those traitor and selfish African people who decided to say, "Fuck it, we're gonna give you some our people we captured in a little squabble the other day. Take them." we're gonna do this. We're gonna trade some of our prisoners for some of your tobacco or some of this or some of your this is the shit that was going on. And also with the Arabs. I mean, why do you think Egypt and all these northern African countries are mostly Arab with Arab speaking people, man? All these folks had a hand in that shit. Over here, though, we already know who was responsible for a lot of the calamity and this shit, but it all goes back. This was the Democratic Party pushing this shit back in the day, especially during pre-Civil War. It's amazing how, decades later, this is the same party is the party of the most mistreated people. As a lot of us has always said over the years, jumping back into that same party that helped cause that shit or promote it. No sense. Makes no sense. And if you go in, you look up the Republican and Democratic parties, and you look in the history of how they flipped and all that shit, man. A lot of that shit is not. It may tickles the ears of some people, but like I said, when you're in a world where they lie and they lie about facts, they have alternative agendas, alternative history, all this other shit, you barely can trust. If shit don't make sense, and it has never made sense, then 9 times out of 10, that shit wasn't kosher from the get-go. It don't matter who the fuck pushing it, who is affecting, or whatever. So, like I said, it goes back to this liberal thing, man. It's like all the liberal systems of governments, the different side, because you have different areas of the world, their governments, their parliaments, they have different names for the people who are liberals and conservatives. But all the liberals, it seems like they are more on bandwagon of fucking enslaving the people to fucking bullshit policies and tyranny. The conservatives are more the warmongers that'll just go to war, don't give a fuck, lie to everybody and tell everybody one thing about it. Well, weapons of mass destruction never was found, but yet people went in there. There was something behind that shit too. I'll get into that another day. But it's not hard to see this shit. And it kind of boggles my mind when you see people continue to talk this shit about what the fuck is really going on. You see it for yourself. You see Democrats, you see liberal thinking people, or people that's proud to say they're liberal Democrats, sitting up here supporting shit that is enslaving them, and enslaving their neighbors, enslaving their family members. You're seeing it. You're seeing people who constantly calling out Trump and the wrongdoings with Trump and his shit. But now that Biden laptop is not a fake story like they've been saying, you don't hear shit. And it's the same bullshit. And that I don't want to get into that, because that just shows you, like I've said before, this back and forth shit about these two parties always talking this shit about one side always trying to call out another side on shit that they're doing. They just want to be empowered to do it. And it's time out for that shit. I've been said it, but that's where we are at with that. And so now you throw in the depopulation shit with that, and it's like, God damn. So y'all motherfuckers are actually with supporting depopulation measures. And, y'all actually are with these depopulation measures. And let me show this crap here. Senator, what's his name? Booker. All these guys, all these folks are jokes, man. I swear, man. As a black person, I am so teed off, man. I don't, I got my issues with others as well, but as a black person, I have an extreme issue with those who sit here, man, and then will try and come at you in all type of ways, because you don't see the way they see. But what you're telling them, or what others are telling them or mentioning them, are basically, well, what the fuck are any of this shit that you bragging about, or any of that shit? What is it doing for you? All these motherfucking politicians, all these fucking Supreme Court people and all that. What are they doing for you? Are they helping you maintain through these high gas prices? Are they helping you to pay your bills as these bills are going up? You know, they had the stimulus and all that shit. And I heard something about it trying to talk about paying, oh, here it is right here. Newsom's gas price relief would send $400 payments to California vehicle owners. Of course, you know the gas prices out west are extremely more higher than where I'm at, and I'm pretty sure in other areas around them. But look at that. They're talking about sending money to California. You know, people are probably like, yes, we did it. And then they'll jump right in there and be thankful, Lord Newsom, you did everything right. You helped us. Same guy who's telling everybody to put their mask on, but he all out partying and shit, eating dinner and kicking it with comrades, while everybody else locked in and can't go nowhere unless they got masks on and shit. But you do something like that, everybody jump back on you and you're forgiven and we're good. And then, but the thing is, what the fuck they think they gonna get $400 payments to every California vehicle owner? More money being printed out of shit, man. I'm telling you. I mean, it's not hard to see one of these motherfuckers been pushing for a lot of this shit to happen, man, throughout the years, man. Oh man, child playing in the back. But yeah, it upsets me to the utmost, man. We constantly hear these so-called smart, educated black folks from amongst us that's willing to talk shit about other black people who they feel like ain't got no certain say so on shit, because you know they may feel they're uneducated, yet they're looked at as being uneducated themselves by other aspects of other groups. But they'll look at people amongst yourselves trying to tell you to wake up and get the fuck up out of this shit. You see what's happening. Stop buying into this bullshit. Understand that people got to work together, yes. But continue to put your trust into a system that has failed you from the beginning, from inception in the first fucking place. It's kind of fucking self-explanatory why the shit is happening to us as a whole in the first fucking place. And I've been wanting to just stay focused on black. I don't want to keep it on black folks, just because this is shit that's like, god damn, it's like you see so many, and I know it hurts because I got family members and stuff that be a part of this shit, and they think everything is so wonderful and cool, and you know how it go. Trump was the person Trump was a bad guy, and he had to get out of here, and we're doing better with Biden, and it's like, how the fuck are we doing better? How are we doing better? How are we doing better with Biden and Kamala Harris? How the fuck are we doing better? How? Can anybody answer that? Outside of any type of monetary payments that were released over the last couple of years or whatever. I mean, how has anything benefited anybody? People have lost their small businesses and all this shit. Or have had to cut back and do different shit. How's that helping? How is that helping? How is sitting up looking at this lady Jackson going for Ketanji Jackson going for the Supreme Court? How's that helping? How's that helping you in your pocketbooks? Hell, Kamala Harris don't even sound like she know where she at half the time, just like Biden. And an embarrassment on the world stage. And you'll hear our own people sitting up there talking about, man, this is a blessing that she's there and all this shit. What the fuck is it? How is that a blessing? Being an embarrassment to your own people. How is that a blessing? Being an embarrassment because you can't speak your fucking mind, you speaking a script. How is that a blessing? And let me see. Breaking news. Politico. Let me go to this. And see, this is going to be another firestorm. I just talked about Politico. No, I talk about PolitiFact, but we're going to Politico right now. Now, this is where we headed. And it's sad because you got people caught up in this. U.S. to welcome 100,000 Ukrainian refugees. The crisis in Ukraine has quickly unfolded as the fastest growing refugee crisis in Europe since World War II. The Biden administration will announce its intention to welcome 100,000 Ukrainian refugees and others affected by the Russian war in Ukraine. A person familiar with the plan told Politico on Thursday. And I'm pretty sure when they come in, they will have a red carpet. They will have all the money and all the stuff they would need to come in, get a house or apartment, have food stamps, have all that stuff that a lot of people from here have to go through hoops or get talked about because they use the shit because of a certain demographic. Like, damn, you know what I mean? Look at the state of the world. Look at the state of the nation. I mean, goddamn, but U.S. to welcome 100,000 Ukrainian refugees. And the sad part about it, these people are human beings just like everybody else, just like the rest of us. All of us caught up in our egos, following these egoic rulers, fake rulers and bullshitters. But the thing that this causes right here is no different than what they cause with the open border shit. You barely can take care of your own citizens. I just spoke on that stuff yesterday about the heavy rains and shit. Just last night it rained and basements were flooded last night. You got shit going on in the country in which the citizens born and raised here are having issues and can't get no effect, can't get no relief. Yet you constantly have the borders open, you have the door open for crises, victims and stuff. It's like United States has always been a dumping ground. It's like, why is it always the United States? I mean, you see groups that go other places, but you don't hear it as much as you do the United States and having a problem with immigration and people coming over here, refugees. And it's like they'll bring them over here, set them up, and then that argument will be blown up. You'll have people, well, look, they shouldn't be over here. And motherfuckers here ain't getting what they're getting. And it's like this. It's sad when people get caught up and put in the middle, especially when it's involving something that these folks been pushing for the longest. This whole fucking shit with Ukraine, and I can't wait till what's in the dark comes out in the light with that shit. And slowly it is, because all the corruption that Ukraine has been involved in, including their neo-Nazi shit, their crimes against humanity, including Russia's. But you know, the one thing about it is the United States won't mention Ukraine. They only talk about Russia's, you know, especially calling out Putin as a war criminal. Ain't none of these American presidents are guilty of war criminal shit. We know that's a lie. Well, those who got their third eye open know that it's a lie. Last year, after these folks had that botched shit in Afghanistan, and then set up and bomb that place up and hit that guy up with a what was that, drone attack, and killed a couple civilians. You know, Biden could be called a war criminal too. But that should be relevant enough so people could be like, well, you know what, a motherfucker is kind of tired of this back and forth shit, and he's seeing motherfuckers calling out shit when they know they're guilty of the same shit. And it's like, when motherfuckers gonna stop that shit? But I don't know. But this is breaking. This is the day, so you're gonna have probably more coming. And you know, since the depopulation thing has happened over here, where you got 75% of the counties report more losses than births, I guess you know, refugees from other countries will start making up that stead so that they can go into these factories and go into these corporate industries and make them money while they sit up and work against America's sovereignty and human beings over here, and human beings sovereignty. But like I said, when in the Black community, and I want to get back to that, in the Black community, it just gets so fucking upsetting when you pull this out. It just gets so upsetting when you see so many of y'all people, especially like people you grew up with, you come up around, may have once had same point of views, may have once and I'm gonna be real, I used to be a guy who used to want to be in the military. People in my family served. I've always, that was one thing that is all, I've always had respect for those who serve. Anytime you serve, and there's still respect for those who serve. Anytime you serve your country to a point where you're out putting your life on the line, and when you look at the history, I studied a lot of these wars, maybe, and from World War I, World War II, Revolutionary, Civil War, you know, Vietnam, all that shit, a lot of that stuff. And you know, over the years, I've seen how you know, a lot of BS was involved in a lot of the early stages. But when you think about it, this culture of death that we're living in, this is what it is. It's a culture of death. These folks don't want to push life. They're pushing death to every citizen in this country, and don't matter who the fuck it is. People are pushing death on one another. And the more you keep on looking to these fake leaders and rulers who are the grim reapers, as I look at it, in my opinion, who bringing shit to you for you to accept and say it's for your own good. You can't think for yourself. We'll think for you. You know, I mean, this is where we're coming to. But I used to always want to be in the military. I used to be gung-ho. Anybody around me that grew up with me knew I used to wear fatigues. My sister used to be in the military. I used to get fatigues from her. My brother-in-law, much love. Used to get booze, used to go to surplus, all that shit. I used to do all that. I used to, matter of fact, once I got out of once I got into middle school, like 8th grade, and then going into 9th grade, high school age group, I was beginning to talk with people, recruiters specifically for the United States Marine Corps. So I was ready. I was ready to go. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff happened, and my little rebellious uh, trend started to show itself. And I started looking at shit a little bit differently. Like, damn, a lot of stuff didn't make sense. You know, it never would make sense when you want to serve your country, but you want to serve it in purity and ingenuousness, not serving it because you feel like you gotta do it because you're obligated because of you're there, but you're getting treated like shit while you're there, or you're not doing it because you just want to make a paycheck. That you really doing it because this is the pride and the love that you have, and that slowly left, man, because of all this shit a person sees. And when I think about everybody who served in all these wars and shit, and knowing that all these wars were bankrolled by people who are trying to create certain avenues that we will be falling in line down the line in history. And these wars took millions of people out, destroyed a lot of stuff, shaped boundaries and territorial lines to a point where some people were taking people's land and adding it to their shit and taking land and giving it to somebody else like they had authority to do it and all this other shit. I mean, it just became disgusting. There's no way in fucking hell I could serve like none of this shit. And I love the fact that people, there's no denying people's pride in what they do. You know, I got much love and respect for anybody who served because they're doing more than me or anybody else could possibly do. I just wish it was up under the right circumstances. That it was up under. Why should you have to serve up under liars and hypocrites that just use you for cannon fodder, and then turn around and treat you like shit after you get out of it? There's a lot of veterans out here fucked up. I'm pretty sure not just here, but in other places, man. And it's like, that's one thing that also took me out of it. And I guess I'm just ranting this morning. After I saw that 75%, that resonated with what I said a couple months back. I'm just going in. So even as a Black person, you always wanted to do something. But when you look at the reality of World War II and all these wars that people trying to define and redefine it to make it fit a certain narrative where you got more Black people involved and shit, keep it real. That wasn't. We know what Black folks were doing in these wars before they were allowed to fight. White folks were doing all the killing and getting killed, and when they blood spilt the ground long enough, and when they got tired of losing enough of their own, they started saying, okay, we'll use Black folks. No way in hell is that a system that you're supposed to be sitting up going into with open arms any fucking way. So, I don't know, man. I guess I'm going in too much, but this shit, man, it gets to me when it gets to me when get to talking about this shit, man, because it makes no fucking sense, man. Like I said, I stand on my shit. I'm not backing down. I don't care what these folks do. I don't support them, don't respect them. It don't matter what color, it don't matter what creed, it don't matter what religion they're part of, none of that shit. Don't care. Do not freaking care. And I always go back to my one talking point. If motherfuckers can't tell me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of others, if motherfuckers can't tell me why the liberal Democratic side of this present government administration cannot and will not hold Dr. Anthony Fauci accountable for the numerous falsities put out in front of Congress. The same Congress that's sitting up here the same Congress that's up here hold on 1 minute, asking all these questions to that Jackson lady and all this other shit. These same folks, whether it be Republican or whether it be Democrat, the same kind of, but more and more, since the liberals are the one in power, or supposed power, if you can't tell me why that guy has been allowed to lie consistently about the COVID-19 and the vaccine thing implementation and the whole gain of function in Wuhan and all that shit. If you can't answer that question, why he was allowed to lie and not be reprieved or not come up under any scrutiny, like I said months ago, there's no respect. I don't give a shit what anybody says. There's nothing, especially when a person has lost people. You know, I sit up and I look at this shit every day, and I do this stuff because not only because I want people to understand that there's people out here looking at this shit differently. I'm one of them, and I'm thankful to be one of them. And there's a lot of more people waking up to a lot of this shit. You know, at one time I was one of those rearing to wake up. But I do this shit not only to try and lend a voice to so many others out here that are trying to show people shit. It don't matter what color you are. In the Black community, I try and focus on Blacks because I know how fucked up we are in our thinking. But in order to merge into a total collective, everybody got to get all their fucking closets in order. Get all that garbage, trash, skeletons, all that shit up out of there, throw it out in the dumpster, and then we begin to build new. White folks gonna have to do the same shit, clear all that garbage, all that clutter, trash, and shit out. And there's a lot of white folks, plenty of them, who own real shit. I know, I've been around them. I've talked to some of them. They do not give a fuck about what the fuck this government saying. They don't ride with a lot of that dumb shit. They don't care about motherfuckers' color. It's all about human beings and doing what needs to be done to keep your family, yourself safe, sound, and with the ability to have food, clothing, and shelter. Simple. But if they can't answer that shit, man, if they can't do it, that's the only thing need to be said. We don't even have to go into no fucking Roe versus Wade, whether LGBTQ people should be competing against biologically born women, which ridiculous to me. I don't understand how that even. You see how sick and perverted this society has gotten, but I don't even understand that. How does a biological man who claims he a woman, if he has that thought and he has that fucking idea, more power to him or that person. But when they do shit like that to try and impede on other people's shit, man, that's not right. That's not right. And so you got a man that is winning competitions in the NCAA against the women, and you think people ain't supposed to speak up about that shit? Why not just have a organization just completely for LGBTQT sports, or however they go? Why not just have an organization for everybody who's transgender and want to compete in sports, why not have an organization for them to have their own sports where they compete amongst one another? Why is that not even being mentioned so that you can keep the frustration down? So there's more of the bullshit. So like I said, if these folks can't come out and say anything on that, I could give a flying fuck about any of that shit they talking about. They can keep on talking about the Ukraine and Russian war all they want to. Well, I pray for them people over there who being lied to. I mean, I hate it for them because they got liars on both sides fucking them over. They can sit up and talk about this damn Supreme Court combination. Well, whether this black woman get in or not, I don't give a damn. I'm not going to shed a tear or give a damn one way or another because that shit doesn't affect me. And none of the goddamn rulings that they come out with affect me as far as opening up some dialogue or some transparency on a lot of corrupt shit that a motherfucker living up under. So I don't give a fuck what these so-called medical folks have to say. Any of these folks, religious folks, I ain't got shit. I don't even want to hear nothing from them. And this is a sad thing to say because you need to hear from religious people because you always want to have that spiritual reassurance. But when you see that the spiritual reassurance is being compromised by hypocrisy and lying, then that they no longer have no credibility. So when you can sit up and run all this stuff in churches and stuff and not speak on that stuff, like, okay, but what about all this stuff that's happening at well, are we gonna mention this? Oh no, we're gonna do that, man. We're just gonna pray about it. You know? No, we're not gonna just pray about it. We're gonna put this shit out here because these folks lying to us. Ain't that what we're gonna do? Ain't that what the creator would want us to do? Stand on truth, not fall for anything. So it's like that saying that Pac said, you know, a coward dies 1,000 deaths. Man, I'm not trying to do that. And it's like a lot of people have been turned into intellectual cowards, religious, philosophical cowards. People become cowards in their own spiritual aspect of looking at it. I know about it because I have issues with some of the stuff that, you know, you still have little tenacities to have fear here and there of the unknown. Slowly been breaking out of that shit, slowly coming all the way full circle. But people in their political cowardism, where you can call out shit, long as it ain't affecting your agenda or your party lines and all this other shit, you can call that shit out. But if the other side, if your own side is guilty of doing bullshit and everything, you just quiet as church mouse, pissing on cotton. So no, man, it's no respect, man. No respect. I gotta have these rants in every now and then. No respect, man. No respect. And I know these folks be watching this shit. They hear our phone calls, all that shit. I don't give a fuck. At least they know that I'm one of the ones, that, along with millions other across the planet, who could care less about their goddamn agendas and shit. They can keep pushing for a totalitarian governance system for the whole planet to fall up under, and continue to keep lying about the facts of history, the facts of certain science, the facts of other life out here. And that's going to be another subject I get on, because me personally, and I have spoken on this before, I do believe there's other life out here. There's always been other life out here. These folks have always been lying about it. That's why we keep getting caught up in all this bullshit. We can't seem to get ourselves away from being involved in all the arguments and the bullshit and the wars and the petty differences and this and that and the hypocrisy and calling this out and that out. We keep getting involved in this shit, but yet these folks still are lying and denying the fact that there's other life out here. And I'm gonna get off of here because I done ranted enough. But when you come back on this page any other time and you look at any of the shit that I got on my videos, I do not give a fuck about what these folks saying, period. And it doesn't matter if you black, white, or whatever, if you full of shit and you talking about some stuff that don't make no goddamn sense, and you can't go back that shit up outside of some old what you would call paid off bullshit media sites like that one site I went to, PolitiFact and Pointer and Snopes and all these bullshit ass places that acting like they really giving you some information to try and call out some disinformation. Fuck out of here. And with that, I just like to say that I do this because out of love and the want for peace across the planet, I get emotional, and it's all out of love. There is no hatred in my heart for any person. Only thing I want is the want for truth, the want for truth. And there's a guy named Max Egan. I think I mentioned him before, but he always say we should always be free enough to get the truth. The reason why we're not free enough, we can't even say we're free. We're enjoying freedom. Motherfuckers talk about democracy and freedom, but how you free when you're not free enough to have all the truth and information you need to continue to maintain and develop your society mentally, physically, and spiritually. If you have something on in the middle of that tapping and cutting shit off, then or stopping you from reaching your fullest potential, you're not truly free. And that's just a fact. So with that, I'd like to get up out of here, greet you as I came in the universal words of peace. I pray that each and every one continue to have a blessed day and as well as a blessed week. If I feel it again, I might be on here again. But take care and